Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the WolfPack Podcast. Today is episode number 121, and today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Rebels. This is our WolfPack Roundtables weekly, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Episode 11, Call to Action is what this one is called. This one was actually unexpectedly available on the Disney XD app earlier today. Usually it's uploaded at around 10:30ish, or not 10:30ish, 9:30ish when the episode is done. But today, recently they've been uploading it earlier, so that's kind of cool. Really good episode, really great surprises in it, and yeah. But actually, before we talk about this episode, I want to, because I haven't yet, because last time, the last show we did on Friday, Jason and Steve had not yet done their Realm recap episode. They're on episode 50 now. So congratulations to you two.
50.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's a good milestone. So if you guys haven't checked out their podcast, definitely check it out. It's awesome. We all listen to it weekly, so go check it out.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, so this episode was probably, I think, the best in the series, hands down. And I think the reason for that would probably be just the way they executed it cinematically, and the music they had with it, and a familiar face. I just feel like they really outdid themselves with this one. It was darker. It was definitely a darker Rebels episode. I think it was really well done. Obviously, Grand Moff Tarkin made his appearance in this episode. Now, when it first opened, I thought it was going to be Vader. What about you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. When that shuttle was landing down on Lothal, I'm thinking, okay, Vader's making his return, because all of the Empire agents were lined up, all the stormtroopers were lined up, waiting to greet the character, whoever stepped out, and I was like, wow, this reminds me of Return of the Jedi.
Right.
In fact, this whole episode had a very, very classic trilogy, especially A New Hope, feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the music too at the beginning, where you see the shuttle coming, flanked by TIE fighters, landing in the hangar. It had just a ton of, even the sound effects were just so, obviously it pulls from the original trilogy, a lot of that stuff, but it just felt so Vader, coming into land.
Yeah.
His theme, and it was just really pretty good. And it was a nice surprise, even though it was Tarkin.
Oh, definitely not disappointing.
No.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice welcome, because I think we all knew Tarkin was going to come at some point in the series, because Stephen Stanton, who voices Tarkin in Clone Wars, was very active within Facebook with Rebels. I mean, he was really, really promoting Rebels for the past few months, and I think it's not just because he's in it, but he's a fan himself. But I think one thing that, obviously many of us I thought was, because he's going to be in it, and he did a few hints where he would have the Rebels shirt on, and he would actually, be doing voice recording for it. And he said, "Yeah, just another day at the office," and he did that not too long ago. So that was cool.
It is nice continuity, I think, having the same voice actor appear as the same character. I don't know if he'll do other roles within this series, but having Tarkin show up, that just definitely paved the way. I mean, we kind of had a hint that there was a darker side to Tarkin in the Clone Wars, but back during that show, he wasn't quite sadistic, or not dark side. I don't want to use that term, but he didn't quite have that evil edge to him in there, but he does in this episode.
Yeah, in the Clone Wars, he was just kind of your regular, kind of pushing everybody around jerk. But even though he was a jerk, I couldn't really see him in Clone Wars killing a Jedi just because. So I think it's definitely cool how they also aged him in this, and he looks, obviously older. He's got. I noticed in the episode itself, and I know Marco noticed this too. What's up with all these pens they have in their pockets? I mean, they've got an arsenal of pens.
Those are code cylinders.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are not pens.
I don't even know what that is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they some kind of signification of the rank. How I don't know, but maybe they like give you access to certain levels of different things.
Yeah, that's how I understood it. Kind of like, you're able to access,
Mm,
all this information based
Yeah.
on what you have. It's kind of like a, USB port drive. You plug it in, and now you have access to whatever.
Mhm.
That's how I interpreted it.
We never see them do this, by the way.
Yeah,
But
right. Okay, so I don't know how I bypassed this. That's hmm. Um, I think it's kind of cool, again, how Tarkin came, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but all the troopers were literally just still, they didn't move at all.
yeah,
I mean, and I'm not talking about, like, because they were scared or anything, it's just the way it was done. It almost looked, if you will, photoshopped because there were so many of them at once, and they were all in the same position. Um,
yeah. It looked, they just took the same pose and then just replicated it all over, just to
are you
save
saying they were
time.
cloned?
well, that's going to start a whole debate.
Yeah.
Um,
Have we seen the black pauldron troopers or stormtroopers
I
yet?
was just gonna say I noticed him back there. Yeah.
I can't recall. I mean, we've definitely seen white, and we've
And
definitely seen
orange.
orange. Yeah, I don't believe we've seen black yet, though.
So that was kind of neat. And he was holding like the classic larger rifle.
Right.
It was pretty
That
cool.
was very cool, I think.
And I later on in the episode, I remember when we were watching it earlier, I said to Corey, I'm like, it's kind of cool to see Tarkin dressed up in his armor when he
Yeah,
was making the tour of the city. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So there's like a commander who does more than just sit on the sidelines and direct people. He's not afraid to get out in the field.
Right. I think another thing that was leading it to to believe that it was Vader was the vehicle was coming down, and that's kind of the vehicle that Vader comes out of, and again, like Steve said, not sorry, Jason said, the music and everything. But they did say we would see Vader one more time before the season ended, so that would
Mm.
fall around the next episode. Now, currently, the way this is working, Disney's not doing a good job advertising the next few episodes. I mean, like it's so all over the place right now that we don't really know, like set in stone, when the season finale is happening. There was 13 episodes confirmed. It looks like it's going to be 12 now. So
Hmm.
well, there's one next week, next Monday, that would be 12. And then I thought I saw sometime today on Twitter something about March being the last one.
Really?
I
next
thought
week, oh, go ahead.
yeah, that's what I thought I saw come across on one of my.
Hmm.
But for sure, it's the new one next week. Well, I guess I'm kind of talking probably ahead of myself here. The one that we're talking about now is the one that's next week, which is
That's
that number 11, or is this one that
Yeah,
we're talking
that's 11.
about? Okay, so
So basically, for people who watch the app, we don't know. We don't know the what do you call it? The what
the
episode?
air date.
Right. We don't
yeah.
know when we're gonna see the next one. So
My guess is
When it comes out, we will definitely be talking about it.
yeah. So that one's called Rebel Resolve, and that's slated to come out February 23rd, 2015, supposedly. So, yeah. Anyways, I think one thing about this episode that was cool is we saw Kanan's training starting to pay off a lot more, and you could tell he was a little more powerful. So
Yeah.
that was cool, and there was 2 deaths in this episode, some pretty brutal deaths. The Inquisitor decapitates Taskmaster Grint and what is it, Commander Arisco or something like that?
Yep, Commandant Arisco.
Yeah. So they're both dead, which kind of surprised me. I didn't think they were going to kill them off so soon. So
Yeah, and they were. What did you say? They were very much Black Sun style executions.
right, very Savage Opress like, yeah.
Yeah.
He just takes the
Yeah.
lightsaber as if it was like a handlebar, and he just goes right into them with it. So
And it was funny because just before that moment, I said to Corey, I'm like, is the Inquisitor really Tarkin's lapdog at this point? Because he's not doing anything but standing around. And he goes, oh, just wait.
Yep. I mean, I think the Inquisitor... Tarkin made a good point when he said, the Inquisitor's task is to hunt down the Jedi. Well, Inquisitor, you're not doing that, so...
Right.
Yeah, Tarkin wasn't afraid to, call people out on their screw-ups. He's was totally pretty much in the Inquisitor's face saying, you're not doing your job, basically, and if I'm here, that truly means that, something's off, and I guess the next step would be Vader,
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought that was very much in keeping with how Tarkin was portrayed in the Clone Wars, and certainly in A New Hope. He just doesn't take crap from anybody. It's like, Jedi? Oh, yeah, I've known some Jedi. They're all dead now.
Right.
Just have such an attitude about him, which I really enjoyed in this particular episode. So definitely, I'm sure we might see him again, because this kind of ended on a cliffhanger.
Well, I almost wonder if, I feel like they're foreshadowing the way the Empire works. Tarkin had no problem killing those two Imperials, so what would stop Vader from killing the Inquisitor? Vader is known for that. I mean, if the Inquisitor isn't going to kill or harm Ezra or Kanan, Vader's going to kill him because he's not doing his job. So I'm wondering if that's how we're going to see Vader again. I mean, I don't think they're going to kill the Inquisitor off yet because I feel like that'd be too early. But
I don't think they'll kill the Inquisitor, but I think they'll save Vader's appearance for the end of this season.
now, what do you think? How do you think they're going to incorporate him in it? I mean, they've shown Tarkin. Tarkin already killed two Imperials that, through our eyes, were already well known in the series. We knew these two from about 5 episodes out of the entire run, and that's.
In fact, we said we haven't seen the dead-looking guy in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously, if characters like that can be killed off, because I always envisioned that those guys would be like throughout the series just being these annoying, characters. Not annoying characters, but annoying Imperials. Not annoying to us, but they were annoying, like the other Imperials. So
they're kind of like Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that they would die so soon. I mean, I'm kind of hoping there's a mission series pack of them coming down the line, but
I wouldn't hold my breath.
I was thinking too that with this episode, it's pretty much all the characters from the Spark of Rebellion episode. Like the officers, obviously Callus, everyone that was in that, except for depending on the version you saw, Vader was out, but they replaced Vader with Tarkin. But otherwise, you get pretty much the entire.
And what was the female agent's name? I can't remember.
Minister Toa or
Toa,
something like that.
So she's still around.
Yeah, she's pretty high ranking if she's in on these interactions with Tarkin and Callus.
Yeah, I have a feeling that she's gonna meet her demise too. So interesting how the Imperials work. You don't, and we've known this, but it's just interesting to see Imperials that we know throughout the series get killed like that. Because in the movies, we got an Imperial in one movie, and you knew he was gonna die anyways because he wasn't doing his job, and he died. So it's interesting getting to know those characters and then seeing them get killed.
We didn't really see a lot of that until The Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in A New Hope, Tarkin was definitely the guy in charge. He's even pompous about it. He's like, the rebels, they're not going to be able to destroy the Death Star. Are you crazy? Well, and this is obviously before then. So I wonder if we'll see more of that kind of relationship, because remember, in the Clone Wars, Tarkin was going on and on about how tight he was with the Chancellor, Palpatine, who is now the Emperor. So at some point we might see the Emperor in this series, and I wonder just how much of that relationship between those two characters they will go into.
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll definitely, it'd be kind of neat to see. I mean, this is like going in the future. Maybe it'd be kind of neat to see how Tarkin and Vader are trying to one up each other in conversations, and if maybe Tarkin is aware that Vader is Anakin.
Mm.
That I always wondered.
Yeah, I'd have to read because I have that Tarkin book,
Oh, right.
and I don't know if that would allude to that in there.
I think that they're advertising Tarkin quite a bit, so I think that he's probably going to have a surprisingly bigger role in the series. I have a feeling he'll be in it throughout, kind of. I think when these rebels, the specific cell, keeps on growing, this is going to be their mission to find this specific cell. They want these guys. I mean, look at it. There's 2 Jedi with these rebels. That's probably priority number 1 for them at this point, especially when they keep on going away. And obviously, we know that they're going to rescue Kanan. So.
Right. Well, that's interesting you say cell, because that's something that the series itself hasn't really explored yet. Is that this bunch of rebels in the show is like one group of upstarts, and Tarkin hints that there are others.
Yeah.
What would be interesting is like they can't unite, he says. But what if we saw more groups of rebels and coming together, starting to unite, maybe being led by, I don't know, Fulcrum.
Right.
I mean, plus,
it turns out to be Princess Leia.
When we talked with Freddie about a month ago, he was telling us that what he recorded for season 2 basically is, Kanan doesn't like that idea of expanding his group. He doesn't want to deal with anybody else. He wants his group. So obviously, I think Fulcrum, I mean, granted, may or may not be revealed yet this season, because unless that's who they're going to ask for help to get Kanan back, because I mean they have to. Sabine and Hera and Ezra and Chopper and Zeb, they have to go. I don't know why I said all their names, but I mean they have to go through the Inquisitor, Callus, Tarkin, all these guys there. It's going to be tough. So I have a feeling they're going to call in for some help, and I think that's what season 2 is really going to, or the end of season 1 is really going to be about them, finishing this task of rescuing Kanan, and then season 2 is going to really deal with the expansion of the rebellion. So
now, another this is more expanded universe probably, so I don't know how legit it is, but now that we see a younger Tarkin, one of the things that I'm kind of remembering from, I don't remember exactly what story it was, but Tarkin had a personal pilot that flew him around. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. And that was Admiral Akbar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Akbar was Tarkin's slave at one point.
wow.
And I don't know, they may not go with that anymore, but it'd be kind of cool to see Akbar show up in this series. Very early stages of the rebellion. I don't know, I just thought of that earlier when I was thinking back to what do I know about Tarkin.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think also one thing about Tarkin that's cool is, you can see his power, even with Vader. Vader shuts up when Tarkin says to shut up. So, really, Tarkin has so much control and so much power that, that's, like we were saying earlier, that's what was so cool about him coming in there. Inquisitor, dude, he basically said, hey man, you suck, you don't do anything. Callus, you're just a guy with the helmet and, some sideburns, and he's basically telling everybody like it is, and I think Vader's going to get involved. I think Vader is going to get pissed off to no end soon. And I think, but, Dave Filoni made a good statement not so long ago. He said in a video that if Vader is brought, into Rebels, like full-time, and he goes against, the Rebels, they're going to die because they don't have the proper training right now. Now, that's not to say that Vader won't battle against Kanan one day. Maybe they will. Season 3, they can battle. And that just depends on how long the series goes. But I mean, I could see him going for season 3, and season 3 being like that final battle between Vader and Kanan. Personally, I don't want the Inquisitor to kill Kanan or Ezra. I feel like I want Kanan to achieve that level of power that he thinks he's like overwhelmed with how much power he has, that he
Right.
thinks he can take on Vader, you know? So I don't know, I think that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Tarkin goes, Hasbro, you blew it with the Clone Wars one. This is your time to kind of, I
I
guess,
could
get a
see
redeem.
Tarkin released in a 2-pack with Callus. Out his
Yeah.
keep calling him that because he looks like him.
I just like how they gave him like this presence on the show. Like when he shows up, things are gonna get done. Like no matter who he has to step over.
Yeah.
Right. So I have a
So
feeling
after,
that
on this episode, after we see the Commandant and Lieutenant get killed by the Inquisitor, they kind of move back to the Rebels, and they're kind of spying on the observation, tower, or the broadcast tower, and we get to see the probe droids, or the one probe droid.
Yes.
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Dave Filoni's cat again.
yeah.
Yep. I also
They nailed that probe droid though, as far as the sound and
Mhm.
just how it behaved.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was telling Corey, I said, these guys when they're on the roof, they're all laying down in the same position. Their legs are bent the same exact way. They're all crouched down. It's like strike a pose on the roof.
Yeah, pretty much. I think also,
Weird.
you guys remember when Dave Filoni said that throughout season 1, Sabine's armor slowly gets upgraded? I'm beginning to see like new little.
I was noticing that too.
Yeah, she's got
Did she
new.
have like little things around her leg?
Yeah, I just noticed that. I hadn't noticed that
I'm
before.
sure she'll finally get her jetpack.
Because if you think about it, the Hasbro figure that's coming out right now does not have any of that gear on. It does not have the little things at the bottom. And the reason for that is I don't think she did in the season 1 premiere. I think it was very standardized. But now she's got these things on her wrists as well that I haven't seen. So she's gearing up, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah, because she's got the gauntlets now.
right.
Because she had them on the episode that aired tonight, which was the what was the name of that one?
Vision of Hope.
Vision of Hope. She had that on as well. She had the gauntlets that had the blue readouts on them.
Right.
And maybe we just haven't been noticing close enough when they go out into the field and are doing all of their stuff that she has that on.
Right.
But tonight's episode and the episode for next week was the first time I really noticed that stuff. And like I said, she's got like the strap that goes around her leg that has all the little flares or whatever they are, the ammo pack, whatever it is that wraps around. So
Right. Yeah, I'll have to go back and see Spark of Rebellion again and see if there's any differences there. But actually, I think I'd probably be able to find an image on the internet of that. So let me look that up. But I mean, that figure, the Rebels figures are starting to hit a little bit more. So if you guys have any targets by you, I personally haven't found anything. So I just. It's a hit or miss, like usual. It's a hit or miss. So
yeah, a lot of the images that I'm seeing on Google don't show Sabine with any of that new stuff.
right. So she's upgrading as it goes on. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like that idea. Yeah. They're taking any scraps that they possibly can to kind of, further, go with their plan. So.
Well, what's interesting too is way back when that one book came out, that was it the head-to-head book?
Yeah.
And I took a bunch of pictures and I shared those online.
Uh-huh.
I just found one of those pictures,
yeah.
and she's on a speeder, and she has the gauntlets on, and she has those canisters around each leg, which I think in this episode she only has it around one boot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't notice that.
here, let me share my screen here quick.
I think at some point she's probably going to change her armor too. So that would be cool.
Did we lose
You
Dan?
guys see the latest rumor about Sabine being the star of one of the standalone Star Wars
Yeah,
movies?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
No.
I was like,
look,
are you kidding?
why would... There's no way that... I mean, it's possible. Alright? However, look, tomorrow morning I'm going to start a rumor that Hera is the main character, and people will buy it. So, honestly, there's so much rumors coming out, so much, fake stuff that it's hard to tell whether or not.
And
No, it's
Sabine
not.
is showing up in toy stores finally.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Corey.
Bruce Hansmore.
I did not find her. I just heard that she was out. I did find a couple other of the Mission series sets today, but yeah, not Sabine, but she's out there.
Yeah, and if you guys want to pick her up, dare I say it, on eBay, they're getting cheap. She's only going for about $25 now. So if you're in desperate need of Sabine, get her for $25. Not a bad deal. So if you really want Sabine, $25, free shipping. I'm seeing multiple reports on Facebook of people finding this wave. Dan, you found this wave, except for Sabine.
Saw some of them. Yep, I saw the Bosk IG-88 set, Biker Scout and Wicket set, and the Vizago and his droid set, which was pretty cool. Hadn't seen anything new at this particular Target in a long time. And then Toys R Us, I saw a whole bunch of Marvel Age of Ultron stuff, which was not as impressive as I would have liked, but still new toys.
Right. I kind of wish that the thing with I have no idea where I'm going with this. I've totally lost focus of what I was going to say. Shoot. It was...
So other than this episode, I mean, we saw the Imperial troop transports again, which was very, very cool looking. I can't wait to get those in toy form. And the different colors for the ATDP pilots are still intact. So I think there's definitely going to have to be a repaint opportunity for action figures there.
Yeah. The dark version versus the light one.
Yep.
Now, obviously, Toy Fair is coming up in about 2 weeks, and Rebels figures, I'm assuming, is going to be the basis of Toy Fair again, like it was last year. Not obviously the Force Awakens. So I'm wondering what new Rebels items we're going to see. Taskmaster Grint and the Risco Dude 2-pack. Lando, Tarkin. See, I bet you everything I name here is going to end up being wrong. It's going to be like Kanan in space adventure outfit, and Ezra with very minimal paint changes, and Ezra single carded with lightsaber, and Sabine single card. It's just, I'm hoping that they expand it and make new characters available. So I'm hoping. I'm really hoping.
We'll get a couple of the variant stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else we might get. A Tarkin one wouldn't be out of the question, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I was joking before calling him Sabretooth, but I could totally see a helmetless Callus.
Yep.
I would, probably at some point we'll see a Shadow Stormtrooper because that's inevitable. I mean, let's face it. And Lando, definitely. I could totally see them making a Lando figure because that was pretty unique sculpt, and I think he'll probably be back.
We need a
right. Speaking of him being back, Billy D. Williams did confirm he'll be back. So
yeah.
He'll be back for future episodes, and he said episodes, so that's cool, I believe.
I think it's too soon for a Hondo figure, but I was very excited to find out that he was coming back in the show at some point. Don't
Yep,
know
Dan,
when.
your favorite character in Clone Wars is Hondo, right?
I have to say he really was. He was one of my favorites of that whole series.
I mean, Matilda even made you a Hondo shirt,
She
so
did. I have it over there somewhere.
nice. So I hope we get a Hondo figure too, even though Hasbro's probably going to play the card of, oh, well, he's already animated in the Clone Wars line, and
No, this is completely different.
yeah, but Hasbro's mind frame isn't exactly all there, so just
I
saying.
would like to see the TIE Fighter pilot figure repainted as a cruise missile trooper, and then actually see a vehicle of that with a removable figure or an open cockpit. That'd be kind of cool to see that brought back.
I feel like Hasbro has been avoiding playsets a lot, and obviously we know that, but
Right.
I don't think a playset for Rebels would be all that bad for them to produce.
If they made the 2-inch figures, I could see them doing that. And you could have like the big towers with the miles and miles and miles of roads that apparently Lothal is made up of, and there's only one way to get back and forth between these giant towers. I don't understand this planet at all, but okay, whatever. It's like, where are you going? I'm going on this road. or
Or
that
just
road. There's only 4.
All transportation routes.
Yeah.
They could just bomb their own road and no one can get anywhere.
Well, most of their vehicles float, so I mean, that's fine. Speeders and
Yeah,
troop
why do they need
transport.
roads?
Yeah, they don't need roads, but apparently they make them. It's weird.
So they don't run into each other, I guess.
I could also see them creating. I mean, I don't think they would go this deep into background characters, but I could see some of the recurring, aliens that we've seen wandering around. That might be kind of fun. They obviously are paying tribute to the Cantina characters from the Kenner days, so that would be something.
How cool would it be if there was a Creature 3-pack from Hasbro? All of the Rebels characters you were just describing, background characters, that random freaking Greedo that's in every episode, that concept art looking Han Solo, and the same,
The hammerhead in the bottom.
Whoa!
You went on max headroom there.
Okay. I'm glad you like Hammerhead that much.
That has that little thing that he can. That'd be.
What was that, Dan?
Dan's froze up.
Yeah, he's gone. We got.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see any of those background characters made or not, but I think we need some of those speeders. The speeder bikes.
That'd be cool.
Lego's got in on that already, but
Yeah, I saw that.
we need to get another Ezra with his properly painted up helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, John from Crazy About Disney lets us know in the comments that on January 30th, 2015, it was confirmed by Freddie Prinze Jr. the second season.
Yeah, it's.
You scared me.
I don't. You're bugging.
I think we need some of those. What?
Dan? No, Dan. So, yeah, Freddie did confirm that there's going to be, more episodes on Twitter. I hope so.
I can.
That's good.
I feel like I'm.
So this is the fun part of Google live streams.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So hopefully it's going to be 22 to 24 episodes in season 2. That'd be really cool. And season 2 seems like it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. So as a whole for this episode, I am rating this episode 10 out of 10, no doubt about it. What about you guys? We'll start with Jason.
Yeah, I think a 10 for sure. Yeah, it's it has everything that you need. It's got lightsaber battles, stormtroopers, the Inquisitor, Callus, Tarkin. Uh, it's tough to go wrong on an episode like this. I mean, it's not overly kid friend, it's not kid friendly necessarily. People are getting killed, with their heads cut off. They don't show it, but yeah, it's more of a teenager geared episode. So
I almost wonder if there's going to be some type of director's cut where those heads actually do roll off. Because
yeah, like they did with the some of the Clone Wars ones,
That would
with
be cool.
Ventress kissing and then impaling one of the clones.
yeah, that would make it on the high list for me. What do you rank this episode, Marco?
I would give it a 10 too. The pacing was awesome. Got good mixture of the heroes and the villains. I don't see anything wrong with this episode at all.
Right. So yeah, it was a great episode. 10 out of 10. Dan, what do you think? Dan's still frozen. Never mind. Rebels Resolve airs February 24th, 23rd. And we don't know what's going on with episode 13. I'm almost wondering if episode 12 is going to be 45 minutes long. And if that's going to be Rebels Resolve Part 1 and Part 2
That'd be
in
cool.
one big episode. I think that would be awesome. But Jason, you mentioned that you saw something about March.
Yeah, I was searching through my Twitter feed, seeing if I could find it, and I can't. But I thought that it looks, from what I thought I saw, that the last episode of the first season would show up in March sometime, maybe the early March.
Gosh, these breaks are beyond weird. I mean, they're just beyond weird. We're looking at 2 to 3 week breaks at some points. It's very odd. So
one thing we didn't really talk about for this episode was the end, where they make their way to the tower, and Kanan pretty much not sacrifices himself, but cuts himself off from the rest of the team to make sure that they're able to be evacuated. And it was just a very cool shot, I thought, of the dialogue exchange between Kanan and Ezra as he's trying to get Ezra to leave, and they pan around and they show Kanan about ready to take on the Empire on one side of the door, and the door closes, cutting Ezra off. I thought that was a really cool just way to show that whole exchange.
I totally agree. It really shows the emotion between Kanan and Ezra, and Ezra is legit. He's concerned what's going to happen to Kanan, and that's cool that their relationship as Padawan and Master is developing. And I think it was a very proper way to get captured. So I thought it was cool.
And we also get to see the return of the Clone Wars vehicle that Coruscant policed, gunship or whatever it was called.
And I think they used the exact same soundbite from the actual gunships themselves from Clone Wars, the Republic gunships. So I thought that was really cool to hear that sound again.
And it reminded Corey and I that we need that Lego set still.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And Dan's back. Awesome.
I don't know if you guys talked about the little turrets that they had where they were kind of, the stormtroopers were trying to turn around.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys remember the old Power of the Force 2 gunner stations.
Oh, yeah.
I could totally see Hasbro or somebody putting together a little turret thing with a little figure inside. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
And it totally seems like they made it action figure compatible, as something that could be done in that scale.
Right.
Because we've always seen, them as a tower on the Death Star surface before. Obviously something that can't be, controlled by a single person sitting in a chair behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be cool to get
But
some sort of gunner station deluxe set.
That would be extremely cool.
Yeah.
That'd be extremely
Kind of like how the Clone Wars had that deluxe line.
Yep.
With like you could see a Rebels doing a little set, like a little I don't know, like an oversized accessory packaged with another figure. That would be kind of a fun way to bring out some of this. I mean, if they were to do another one, I don't want to see like another line of speeder bike and pilots because we've got plenty of those from the Clone Wars. Well, there's still some cool speeder bikes in this series. Now that we think about it,
I do actually want to see like Ezra's speeder bike with Ezra. This could be your way with getting Ezra with the lightsaber. So
yeah,
And be able to put set Chopper on the back.
Right. So that would be really cool.
And also, this episode once again proves that people don't look up when they walk down alleys.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know why. You're hunting for somebody, you don't look up. That's so weird.
Seems to always happen with the stormtroopers.
Yep.
So, yeah, that kind of concludes tonight's episode review. We'll be back when the next episode airs, some point in February, and season finale is closing up. And Freddie and Taylor will be joining us on February 27th.
Cool.
Unless the season finale is in March, then we'll have to move that to March. But yeah, thank you all for listening to another episode of WolfPack Podcast. You can find me here on YouTube, on Facebook, on www.wolfpackpodcast.com, on iTunes, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Google+. We're also now offering WolfPack Podcast t-shirts. They cost $27 each. You can email the wolfpackpodcast08@gmail.com on information on how to buy them. PayPal only, please. That's the payment we take. Your shirt should get to you in about a week if you order them, and it's a very simple process. We've got
very cool shirts.
They are very cool shirts, and huge shout out to Matilda over at Star Wars Design for creating them. They're awesome, and yeah, so go check that out. And yeah, Jason, where can we find you?
You can find me at yakface.com and weekly on our podcast video chat deal that we have on YouTube, The Realm Recap with Fly Guy.
All right, and Dan?
Yeah, here, there, and everywhere. Apparently, I'm in Logan's house today because my internet keeps crapping out on me. So.
And Marco?
You can find me at Crimson Darth Maul on YouTube.
That's right. And to get your latest action figures, go to www.dorksidetoys.com. They got in some really cool Rebel stuff. Go pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, also, Big Bad Toy Store has some new Black Series 6-inch figures available, so go check those out. And they've got some Arrow figures available. You can find me and Marco over at the Maracuru Podcast, our Arrow podcast. We missed last week. We'll be back this Thursday reviewing both episodes that have come out. Thank you all for watching. And yeah, thank you, and may the Force be with you.